Welcome to Sci-Fi Frontier. I'm Dominic, and I'm here with my co-host
Wally.
And so we're going to be discussing the last two episodes of Picard,
Episodes 4 and 5.
episodes 4 and 5. So we're going to start off with Absolute Candor. So I'll let you go first, Wally. What did you think of episode 4?
I was more entertained with episode 4 and a lot of the aspects of what happened, even right towards the end. The back end of the 4th episode was obviously the best.
Mm-hmm.
We started getting into the ship battles and finding out who the pilot of the assisting ship was there against the Romulan bird of prey. Didn't even see that one coming. We found out it was 7-9 that gets beamed over to the bridge of Rio's ship there. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was more. It felt more like a Star Trek episode, like with the ships, like seeing them traveling more on the ships and whatnot.
Yeah.
I got more enjoyment out of it. Like it's still a very slow building story,
mm-hmm.
but it's still not uninteresting for me.
Yeah.
I'm still finding there's just still aspects of it that I still want to see answered as we're going along.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's again going back to Discovery. This is almost 6 episodes in, and I'm not giving this up after 6 episodes.
Yeah.
So that being said, Discovery can just take a wash as far as I'm concerned, and we're just going to leave it at that.
So anything about this episode you didn't like?
Yeah, they're still insisting on having Raffi call Picard JL.
Yeah, I don't think that's going away.
No, I don't think so either. But I hope they do explain that, because wow, I don't care if he's resigned his commission. When they did the flashback, she was still calling him JL, and Starfleet uniform and all, rank of admiral. She was at best lieutenant commander. That just still drives me crazy. Whatever. It is what it is. So.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's still my biggest gripe. But it's. I know there's other people out there that are reviewing it. You know, the Trek yards, the anti-trekkers, everybody out there, and there's guys that are like the anti-trekker that do enjoy these episodes. Trek yard guys are a little harder on it. Yeah, there's pieces and things like that. I'm gonna have to say that while we're reviewing this, I did watch their reviews of these last 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I did pick up on some of the things that was bothering them with the Picard flipping the Romulans only sign off on the bar, flopping it down face down, and then quickly panning over, and then the words are face up instead of into the ground like it was. But that's, like they said, that's an editing error.
Yeah,
so that's
editing mistake. Yeah, that happens.
It does. But for these guys, they have to know that these shows are going to get picked apart for every little.
Oh yeah,
little
that's how
aspect
Star
like
Trek
that.
fans are very detail oriented when it comes to Star Trek.
Yeah, and whether or not these people that are writing these shows, like this was, I believe, directed by Jonathan Frakes.
I think so. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Like, I know he's not on the editing room floor, but there's lots of people that say this really doesn't have a Jonathan Frakes feel to it. But you know what? It's felt more like a Star Trek episode than anything has been to this point. So I'm just going to let it run with that. So
yeah.
But other little things like when Picard and the Romulan boy, they're Alon.
Yeah, I forget the Romulan guy's name.
I forget right now. It's kid's an interesting character, but he didn't, when they were getting ready to beam out of there, he didn't say to transport. He just said now, and they just automatically transported. But I swear I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm pretty sure that if we go back into past episodes of seasons, we could find instances of that not happening. I don't have one handy right now, and just for that reason I wasn't going to bring this up, but because I have now, I'm rewatching Star Trek Next Generation right now. I'm on season 4, but I haven't been paying attention for that. But from this point forward, I'm going to be. So
Yeah, watch for that. So, yeah.
If we do see that instance again, I'm going to have an episode, a time frame, season, all of that. So
now they've had things like that because I've watched them all. I'm currently almost through the last season of Enterprise, but I've watched pretty much all the series. There's some handful of Voyager episodes I haven't seen, but like when it comes to Next Gen and the original series, I've seen those 2 shows, watched them
front
over
to
and over
back.
and over.
Yeah.
Now I know on the original series and those kind of situations, Kirk would always tell Scotty, widest beam possible, so they would just beam up everyone. So that's how these do it on the old days.
Yeah, and then the argument will come back is how they know to use the widest beam necessary, right?
So everyone in that radius, Kirk would usually say widest beam possible, and they would have just beamed up, the Romulan guy, Picard, and then the Romulans are right there in that vicinity, just beam them all up in one shot.
Yep.
And then sorted it out in the transporter room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess so far, this has been my favorite episode so far.
Yeah.
Episode 4.
Yeah, I think it was more, like I said, there was a lot more Star Trek feeling to it to really enjoy it.
And now, so I'll go through some of the things I liked about it. Now, they kind of introduced a new faction of the Romulans. This set of they're almost like warrior nuns.
Yep, that's exactly what they're referred to as.
Yeah. And now this is kind of building up on Romulan lore.
A little bit.
I kind of like. So these, from what I gathered in this episode, this group of nuns are they're almost like the adversaries of the Tal Shiar. They've always been
police of the police.
Yeah, they've always been opposed to this, opponents of this Tal Shiar kind of thing. These warrior nuns, and so I thought it was a nice twist to introduce. It kind of fleshes out the Romulans more, because the Romulans they don't really get fleshed out like the Klingons or the Vulcans. Especially the Klingons really got fleshed out through Next Gen and Deep Space Nine and all that. Yeah, so we know a lot about Klingon culture.
Yeah, they were more of a favorite over the Romulans, I would say.
Or the Romulans, they've always been a little bit more mysterious.
Well, you're right, and that's true. I mean, they're more of an isolationist race, but the way events have unfolded, you're kind of seeing a lot of different races, the proper term for what I'm trying to say. When we get through to episode 5 here, you're going to see flashes of Romulans that look like the Romulans that from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Even these warrior nuns still kind of have a resemblance. They almost look like Bajoran Romulans, the way that they're dressed and things like that. So you kind of have that hint of the Next Generation kind of style Romulans, but then you also have these newer Romulans, the ones that are interacting with, I guess you could call them the Tal Shiar, whether or not they will let you know that or not. But they seem to be a little bit different in face.
Yeah, they kind of have 3 different kinds of Romulans in this show.
Yeah, so are they just trying to flesh that out? Like I said, we've gone over this in our last one, that the human race has different races on this planet. So why can't there be different races of Romulans on these planets, right? So
because you kind of got 3. You kind of got Romulans that look the way they did in the original series, where basically they look like Vulcans.
Pretty close,
and then you kind of got a new Romulan for this series that kind of got the more larger foreheads. And then you got the TNG Romulans. They got the V ridge.
Yeah, exactly.
So you see three Romulans. So but that's something about the show that I actually kind of like, that they did that.
Yeah,
because it kind of explains away the makeup upgrade for TNG for the Romulans. Yeah, okay, well we've seen these Romulans, but you still have the TOS Romulans. So you've got 2 different. They're just the same race.
They're the same race, but
different adaptations or whatever they have.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, one thing I found a little bit puzzling about this episode is, so Picard promised the kid the Romulan boy would come back.
Yep.
No, he never did.
No, he never did.
He came back And then, but he was all pissed off that he never came back because they were saying, "Oh, we got to find this guy a home. He needs a good home." And then I'm thinking, I was watching the episode. I said, "What's wrong with leaving him there with those nuns? It's perfectly good home right there."
Well, no, they addressed that in the show. There was the head Romulan nun there was, this is not an environment for a young male Romulan. This is predominantly I don't know that they actually said like it's a women's.
Well, they kind of said it was like a women's. Like,
yeah, it's really not. He's not really meant to be there, but due to the circumstances, they didn't have any choice but to put him there because, when Picard left there, that's pretty much where everything went south, and that's where he ended up losing his commission or resigning his commission, and then, that's another reason why he didn't come back. Like he didn't have the resources of Starfleet anymore because they didn't back him.
Mm-hmm.
So they walked away from him, and he walked away from
because they said he needed like a father figure. But I'm saying you got a full town full of Romulan men there, right next to wherever they are.
Well, yeah, but look at the type of Romulan men that were in there.
I guess you can look at it that way, but because I'm thinking, well, man, they like educated them, they taught them how to fight really good. These nuns,
Yep.
so
yeah. So it's not.
It's like, what's wrong with staying with those nuns? Like, that was a pretty good home.
Well, yeah, it's just
instead of trying to find them somewhere else to go.
Yeah,
trying to relocate him.
Maybe the fact that he was just a young boy, maybe that just looking after him wasn't the way that they had envisioned, carrying on the next however long it is that he was growing up there. Let's say he was 9 to 18, so let's say 9-10 years.
Yeah.
So was that what they really wanted to do, or would they have preferred to have been training themselves and building up their monastery or what have you, right? So, but that's another backstory that they could maybe look at later.
Yeah.
So I have a funny feeling this kid is going to be. It's pretty clear that he's going to be part of the main cast.
Yeah,
so.
he's basically Picard's bodyguard, almost.
Well, he is. That's
now.
What
it seems like. Yeah.
After episode 5, he basically is now. So.
Yeah. Now the other thing that I really like about this episode is we get to see. Well, this is something that I like, and it annoyed me at kind of at the same time, and it's the Romulan bird of prey that shows up. So this, I really like to see this bird of prey. I thought it was a good design. It was very close to the original, and it was a pretty cool space battle they had with this antique.
Yes.
Romulan bird of prey.
Yeah, and it was very, very closely designed to an original bird of prey.
Now here's my nitpick with it. Now, and it's something that I've noticed with this show and Discovery. It's like they're retconning the look of the original series out of continuity. So now, is this a refit that we see of this Romulan bird of prey, or is this how they were always supposed to look? And if this is how they were always supposed to look, then that annoys me. But if this is just a refit from a TOS bird of prey and it's been refitted, then I have no problems with it.
Well, I don't think you're ever going to get that question answered.
Probably not.
These ships are just quick homages to the originals, and if just based on what the look of this Romulan ship is to what an original one looks like, I would say this is just a refitted antique ship to current standards for as best they can with the situation that they're in, right? They don't have a home world, they don't have a lot of these raw resources to build, Dederadex class or better, Romulan warbirds. So my thought is this is just a refit based on what they have.
Now, the reason why I'm worried that this might be they're retconning is just because when they showed the 2 holograms of the 2 Enterprises, they showed the Discovery version of the Enterprise, the original Enterprise. But it looked like that upgraded version or redesigned version of the Enterprise that showed up at the end of, I think it was season 1 that showed up.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was season 1 that at the last episode.
Yes, you're right. It just kind of came into
the view there.
Yeah.
And so now is that how the Enterprise was always gonna? That's how it always looked now, or is that how have they retconned it? And is this how the bird of prey's always looked?
Well, I know what you're saying with the way that it looks there, and the setting of Discovery is pre-Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I've said previous in this, I am whitewashing away Discovery. I don't care what they say. Discovery does not fit.
No, it doesn't. In continuity-wise, it's
continuity
a disaster.
with the prime timeline. So I think, yeah, you're looking at a more detailed Enterprise that's pre-original series, but I think you're still going to have to look at it as an alternate timeline kind of a series, because it just, like you said, it
doesn't fit.
It won't fit. So
now that version of the Enterprise would have worked a lot better in the Kelvin timeline when they did the reboot movies instead of the one they used, because I do not like that Enterprise.
Yeah, it looked like the Enterprise, but it was not the Enterprise.
It was not the Enterprise.
But it is the Kelvin universe,
yeah, it is the Kelvin.
So things did evolve differently.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just, I would just forget the J.J. Abrams movies. I would just use them as just offshoots. Just kind of see what happened to a Prime character, where he ended up going and then never came back from. So boom, there's that. It's not going to get carried on, so we'll just forget it from there, right?
So that's my nitpick with this. But other than that, the design itself of this ship is a nice design.
Yes, yeah, it's very.
And that was a pretty cool battle scene that they had.
It was, and you kind of wish it was a little bit longer.
Yeah, it was a little bit longer.
But,
yeah,
it just seems like they were. It was a kind of a rush through thing. Like it was, it seemed like they were just kind of running out of money.
Yeah,
they just needed to end this really quickly. So
yeah,
but I'm hoping that because this is just a first season, it has to get a fan base together, so it can it can kind of create a budget. We can get a little bit better later on. Like, we still haven't seen a Federation vessel. We haven't seen anything that's like mainstream. This time period, right? So maybe a little bit like when you saw the Utopia Planitia before it was destroyed, they were constructing all of those transport vessels. What were they call them? The Wahlberg class, I think is what I heard them say. So, but yeah, that's something you haven't seen yet. So we need to be patient and just see what happens. So,
yeah. What else about this episode can I say? It was cool to see 7 of 9 show up at the end.
Yes, did not see that coming. I don't know about you, but that was a really interesting way to throw her in there. This Ranger group that she seems to be a part of. You kind of want to see why she ended up as a Ranger.
She end up
why did she end up in Starfleet?
Yeah.
She was working very diligently along with Voyager, so what happened, right? So Icheb went to Voyager before you'll find that out in episode 5. Sorry, spoiler alert. But right at the beginning of episode 5, you'll see Icheb for basically the last time. But it's
yeah.
What else can you say? It's.
But no, that was a cool ending for this episode. It kind of got you excited for the next episode.
It really did. Like you see 7 of 9, and even Picard was shocked. He was not expecting 7 of 9. They were even saying that on the bridge. Beam him in, put him right here. He's requesting a beam out. Requesting assistance. Like, everybody said he, so why was it he, and then all of a sudden it turns out to be 7 of 9?
Yeah.
It's.
That's probably just to throw you off, so you're not going to guess who it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to attribute it to that. I mean, I'm not going to really dig into the whole. It's just to prove a point that women can be the. In these kinds of roles and not just men and everything like that. Well, yeah, I think that's just exactly why it is. Like, sure, the other argument could be is why didn't Raffi say, well, she's requesting, and Picard say he's requesting, and
Yeah.
Rios saying he, and why couldn't they just mix it up like that and still get the shock factor is over. So,
yeah, the shock factor.
So let's just move on. That's kind of who you wanted it to be. That's not the way I was expecting to see her come in, but that was a good way for her to come in.
Yeah. So now I almost forgot, because this is the least interesting part of the show. So
Okay.
I almost forgot to talk about it. It's all the stuff that happens on the Borg cube.
Oh, it's a reclamation cube, right?
Yeah, that's where the story kind of slows for me. It's like I like all this, like I remember all the stuff that happens on the Picard end of the episode and not the Borg cube of the episode.
Yeah, okay, it's.
So I'm curious to know where they're going with this, with the Borg, like, and.
Well, again, like it's.
Because I heard a rumor.
Okay.
Now this is just pure rumor.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is going to be a thing.
Because I don't think I've heard you talk about this yet.
No,
so
no. This will be the first time I'll be discussing it with you. But there's a rumor floating around out there. Well, it's not really a rumor, but I've watched some other YouTubers speculation that I hope to God that this prediction does not come true. That the reason why the Romulans, or this secret group of Romulans, hate AI so much in cybernetics is because they're going to have it that it was the Romulans in the past that created the Borg.
No, I can't see that fitting in. Not at all.
No, I can't see it fitting in. And I hope that they don't go that direction. Because that's going to be really stupid. On a few different reasons. Like, the Borg is something that the origin of the Borg should never be explained, in my opinion. Like, whatever the explanation the Queen gave in First Contact, we used to be organic, then we evolved to
include the synthetic.
That's good enough. That's good enough.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Because they're better off as a mystery. It makes them more
and that's absolutely
and
fine.
a very ancient. Like, to me, the Borg has always seemed like they've been around for like centuries, like even maybe like a couple millennia, going around assimilating other cultures throughout the galaxy.
Well, First Contact, they went back in time to and even Enterprise had instances of the Borg, early instances of the Borg, and then get a message across. And then did they show up? Now, did that message get to the Borg, and then or Q just help them along to find out, right? And then that could all be a part of it. But no, the Romulans can't be a part of that.
No,
because they originated in the Delta Quadrant. That's where they're from.
Yeah.
So it can't be the Romulans.
Yeah.
It can't be. So anybody who's saying that, I'm going to say is absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
They can't go that route.
Okay. If they do.
It's going to be dumb. It's going to be very dumb.
It's going to be dumb.
It's going to alienate a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Right after that.
And on top of it, if they have to connect everything up, it makes the world or the universe seem smaller. It's like,
well, because
you know what I mean, because everything's too connected.
They've already showed this Romulan colony in the Beta Quadrant. Mm-hmm. So where is the Sol system in relation to the Beta Quadrant? Like how close is that?
Well, I think
I mean, like it's
like if you look on because I've looked at maps of Federation space, and some of the Romulan and Klingon empires actually. Like, because they're kind of like very close to the Beta Quadrant, so some of the territories cross over both Alpha and Beta Quadrants.
Yeah, but if it takes so long to get across the Delta Quadrant to get back into Federation space, how big is a quadrant?
Well, they divided up the four sections.
Four sections. So how big is a quadrant?
That's pretty big. I don't know how big.
Well, exactly. So if the Romulans and the Klingons are on one side of it, and the Federation is on another side of it.
Well, it's not that they're on both sides. It's like, say you got the two quadrants. You got Alpha and Beta Quadrant right here.
Yep.
And say this is the border going right here. Like Federation and Klingon and all that would be like just one little spot right there. So they're basically all their territories kind of sit on the border of both of those quadrants. So some of the colonies are going to be in the Beta Quadrant, and then some of the colonies are going to be in the Alpha Quadrant.
That's what I'm trying to figure out: is where's the border line going between that?
Yeah,
are they sitting right on the edge of that quadrant border?
They might be.
So that's
because I think Romulan territory actually is on both quadrants.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at maps that fans or whatever
Well,
do it, I mean that's
it could be, but I mean, yeah, I'm pretty good with my Star Trek knowledge, but I don't have a space map of the way the quadrants are broken up for the Star Trek universe, right?
So, but other than that, I thought this was probably the best episode so far.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that. So I think it is.
So then let's move on to the next one.
Episode 5.
Stardust City Rag. Okay, so what did you think of this episode?
Okay, it started off really dark. Like we spoke about a little bit earlier with Icheb. Like it, right off the bat, you see Icheb getting hacked up right off the bat, and immediately you're just, if you didn't have your full attention right as soon as it started, as soon as you saw him start to get screamed, and then you look over and see a drill heading toward his eye, I guarantee you were watching it after that.
Yeah.
Now that was really, really dark. It was a past tense. What was that, about?
14
years, something like that. So, and then 7 of 9 was obviously still the Ranger there. So, but yeah, it got really dark really fast right off the bat with that. And then as the show progressed, once they started to get to Free Cloud, it seemed to get a little bit more tacky to me.
Yeah, tacky, corny. Yeah, with
there were some nice little hints at some things in the background when you actually saw Rios and all of them get down to the Free Cloud right on the planet there. You notice there's in the background there was Mott's Barbers.
Yeah, Mott's Barbers out at Easter egg.
Quark's Bar, so it looks like he franchised out after.
And Quark's actually mentioned in this episode.
He was actually.
He was mentioned.
So he was mentioned. So that's.
So Quark is still around.
So will we see Quark showing back up?
I'd like to see that actually.
No, he's
for an episode.
I think he's in. I think I saw him in Avenue 5. I only just kind of half watched it, but I thought I saw him in there. But maybe that was Neelix. I can't remember now. But I haven't watched a full episode of that. But that's another story. So. Yeah, this episode, no, it wasn't as good as the last one, but yeah, no. I found when they did all the costumes and stuff, that kind of got pretty cheesy. And Patrick Stewart doing the French accent. Yeah, okay, like, why did they have to do, like, yeah, okay, I know he's trying to throw that alien off the lizard man there. I can't remember what his race was.
Yeah, he was like, whatever he was. Yeah.
But in any event, you know, the eye patch and the black jacket and the hat. I can't remember the full name for the get up that he had, but the accentuation of his French accent. Yeah, they're like I said, he's trying to throw off, on a trail, but
it's like it
really didn't seem like it was a Picard thing. Right?
No, so it's like because when Picard went undercover in like TNG episodes, remember the 2-parter where they were after the Vulcan relic, and he was like on that pirate. They were like grave robbers, and he had that attachment on his neck.
Oh yeah.
Like he didn't do any kind of weird act. He just acted like himself, but they just didn't know who he was.
Yeah, but he took the name of his
Galen.
Galen. Yeah. It was his archaeology teacher back when he was in the academy, and that was only because he was pretending he died to throw everybody off the trail, right? He didn't in that particular scenario. I don't think he needed to be. He didn't need to have an accent. Like he was only in there for what they wanted from him for his scientific.
Yeah, but no one knew who he was. So if no one knows who he is down on this place, why would he need to go act that far with the accent? And all
well, that's the real.
I thought that was kind of cheesy.
Now, okay, they're dressing up Rios and everything. They're talking about. They're very flamboyant down there. You need a feather in your hat. Was one of the lines. I'm like, okay, yeah, feather in your hat, haha.
Yeah.
But, okay, is that the whole reason why Picard had to go down with an eye patch and heavier French just because he's a little bit more flamboyant?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's...
yeah.
I think it was just more in there for a laugh, but after 7 of 9 got to the stage that she wanted to be at,
it got serious.
It got serious real quick, right?
So yeah, that's the other thing too. 7 to 9 acts very different in the show from what we've seen in Voyager.
She's not the same person anymore.
No, she's not.
She's I don't want to say evolved, but she's grown.
Because she was very in Voyager, she always had a hard time acting human or connecting with her humanity.
Well, it's because she was just so recently pulled from the collective, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was more bored, but she's had a lot more time to, as she got through in Voyager too, she started to become more human, even towards the end of the show. And now we've got another, 10 years, 10, 12 years since the end of Voyager, to this point. So she's had more time to regain her humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's definitely in there, bourbon straight up. Okay, how many drones do you know that are drinking bourbon straight up, right? So,
and then what I liked about and then in this episode they finally introduce Bruce Maddox.
Yes. Now, that is
not the same actor.
It's not. It wasn't. The same thing with Icheb was not the same.
No, he was not the same actor.
That by the end, towards the end of the episode, when you find out that Agnes and he had a relationship of some sort, whether they were married or dated or whatever, it seems to me like she had something to do with the creation of these two androids.
Yeah.
And the fact that she killed him. Why?
Yeah, I don't know why.
And doesn't that always seem to be the thing? You get an android or something of this caliber in Star Trek. Dr. Sung. Oh, everybody thought he was dead. Thought he died in the crystalline entity. Then they found out he was sitting on a world all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Developed the motion chip for Data. Brings Lore back. Lore hurts him to the point of he has to die, and then they leave him, and then he's dead. Okay, so you don't get to answer any more questions. Can there be any more Datas or Lores or whatever? Now we're doing the same thing. We got Bruce Maddox. Yeah, I did it. They're absolutely perfect. Now I got to atone for my problems, and they kill him. So all of that time, he finally did it. That was what he was working for in the first place, and he gets 2, and now he's dead. So. Yeah, now we're right back to square one again.
Yeah,
we're chasing this android dream again.
Yeah, now I thought he would be like a bigger part in the series.
Yeah, I
was not expecting to get killed off so fast.
No, I actually didn't think we'd see him at all. I thought he'd be pulling one of those Noonien Sungs and just veer off, get away, but he's been in trouble with all kinds of people. He's obviously not in Starfleet anymore. He's gone to all this trouble to create these androids. And, now we'll never get. Well, I shouldn't say we'll never get these questions answered. But Agnes obviously knows something about it.
Yeah, she said something. I can't. Now that I know the truth, I can't take it or something. She said.
Yeah, I have to. I have to atone for my mistakes. What mistakes?
Yeah, what mistakes?
What happened in the creation of these two androids? One of them doesn't know, and the other one's dead. So what happened? So yes, I think we're gonna find out more of this Dr. Girardi, but
now could she be like some kind of a sleeper agent for the Romulans?
Are we gonna get back into the sleeper agent? Why? If she was a sleeper agent, why would she let it get to this point?
Maybe they want to flush out that guy.
She was obviously watching videos of her and him, and she was right close there. So why wouldn't she do something about it then? So
yeah, I guess.
Why let it sit, right? So I can't see that. Maybe we'll find out this next episode, because what's she gonna do? She gonna abandon ship? No, she's not gonna abandon ship. She's gonna be stuck on there. Somebody's gonna come into that room, find out that he's dead. She's gonna be standing over top of him. What did you do? So there's gonna be an interrogation. So
yeah.
So we'll see.
Now, the other thing, now, a lot of people are saying, like, this Star Trek is, like, this episode is almost, like, too dark. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's...
The beginning was dark, but...
Because I don't know, to me, yes, it was gory, but we've had gory stuff in Star Trek before, like that episode where the guys were getting those weird bugs.
It's the season finale of season 1.
Yeah, and then Picard and Riker vaporize that guy, and he explodes. You see his ribs, everything.
Yeah, they blow his head up and then vaporize the inside of the mother creature. It bursts out of that commander. That was graphic.
that was pretty gory. I would even argue that's more gory than the guy losing his eye in this episode.
Well, yeah, okay. So you didn't see the drill go into his eye, and all you saw was her dig that thing in there and pull his eye out and lop it off. So yeah, you didn't really see, but it was definitely an attention grabber.
Yeah,
but I would put it about I'd say that the first season finale episode was more gory, with vaporizing his head right down to the skull and exploding it. So, that wins. You didn't get that out of here, but you kind of saw what it was.
Mm-hmm. So. And I mean, if they had done that exact same scene today, it'd even be more gory because they new special effects.
The special effects would be way better now. But.
Yeah. Now the other thing is. Considering the tone of this new Star Trek show is darker, that actually would be a good way to introduce those parasites again at some point. Because they never really did do anything with that after. Because remember they said those things sent a signal?
Yep. No,
and then you never heard talk of them again? Well, I mean,
I don't really see them as a that's something that they're going to fit in right now.
When they're done with this, whatever arc they're working on,
absolutely.
For another arc,
they could definitely go back to doing some independent episodes like this, but that doesn't seem to really fit as to why they'd go after a retired admiral. That would be something that they'd be, they're gonna get onto a ship again. They're gonna start infiltrating the head of their, just like they did the last time, and then. From that way, right? So
yeah. Now, one thing I gotta say is Jerry Ryan that plays 79 still looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
for being in her 50s.
She absolutely does. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
So anything else that you did that you liked or you didn't like about this episode?
There's some questionable content that I'd like to see more fleshed out for answers, kind of thing. We talked about this before we started, but the whole 7 of 9, before they get beamed up the first time, trading off the Doctor's life for and then getting up to the transporter platform on Rios' ship, and then the Rangers should be sending me a ship, and I'm going to take 2 of your phasers. And Picard's like, okay, and they're not his to give away, so
no.
What's the point of that? And then she beams down, and then she's
goes Rambo.
Your security team will be here in 30 seconds, and then you're just stalling, blah blah blah, and then she vaporizes her, and then first guard comes around the corner, and then she just starts marching in, guns ablazing, and then that's all you see. So. That's a little something that you want to see answered. Yeah.
Now the only thing about that kind of bothered me is Picard should have known what she was going to do with those phasers. You'd think he would have talked her out of it, because Picard's always the guy to take the higher ground. Like, do you honestly think Picard would have approved of that?
As a Starfleet captain, no. But he's not a Starfleet captain.
Well, no,
anymore,
but he's still Picard.
He is still Picard, but
he stopped her the first time.
But he's an older.
And then he gave that Romulan guy crap for chopping off that other Romulan's head.
Yeah, that is true.
So I've kind of found that a little bit like, well, why? Normally Picard would say, "Hey, I know what you're going to do," and he would give some eloquent speech of why you shouldn't do it, and then, that's kind of like who Picard is.
He's,
Yeah.
you know, those are some of Picard's best moments, is when he gives those good talks
Yes.
in TNG.
Yes.
Because he's always like, that's always kind of like the difference between Picard and Kirk, because Picard is more like shoot first, ask questions later, and Picard's always been more of a diplomat.
Absolutely. He's a diplomat is a good word for it. He's I wouldn't say a pacifist, but he'd definitely prefer, different means rather than going in guns a-blazing.
Like if he wasn't an admiral, he'd make a really good ambassador.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or a negotiator for that matter.
Now, I gotta think, did they even show any of the Borg cube in this episode, or was it just all on the Free Cloud?
No, they basically were on Free Cloud. They mentioned the Borg cube because that's where they're going to next. So the next episode is pretty much going to be the whole thing
of them going to the Borg cube.
Yeah.
So something big something important should happen in that next episode.
I would hope so. I would imagine Hugh and Picard are going to probably come face to face.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we've seen that in the trailers. Hugh and Picard are running down a corridor, so can't see that not happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to see where we are after that.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I guess that's pretty much everything we can say about this episode.
More or less, that's everything we can cover right now. Like I said, we could go into a lot more depth. Like I suppose after we're done doing all of these reviews after the next season, or after the end of the season, we could go back.
Yeah,
and we could do full on detailed.
Yeah.
Detailed, clips and everything like that. Rewatch other people doing, and either try and refute or recoup or corroborate.
Corroborate.
Yeah, with their statements, but it's kind of a here and there thing, right? So
yeah,
let's see what happens.
So yeah, no, I think now this episode wasn't as good as the last one.
No, I would say.
But we'll see what happens with next week's episode.
Not every episode of TNG was great either.
No,
so I mean, let's just get.
Yeah.
Let's just not overanalyze it too much. It's not Discovery. So
no, it's not Discovery.
We're getting more.
No, it's
getting a little bit more wide berth to let's see where the movie where the series goes. So let's just see where the first 10 episodes go first, and then we can really talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. So I guess we'll wrap it up right there. So that's everything we got to say in this episode. Let us know what you think in the comments section, and we will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.